Alright guys, so we had the Walking Dead mid-season finale last night. It ended exactly as I predicted, pillow fight. What's up guys, it's Cruz and T here to wrap up the mid-season of Walking Dead Season 5. We watched it last night. We have some thoughts. Cruz, you go first.
As an individual episode, I actually really loved the episode. As a season, I think they season 2'd me. In that it's the Sophia season, right? Where like it starts off really strong. It really dulls in the middle. And then it bangs you in the end real good. Oh, that didn't sound right. So I think The Walking Dead is really good at that though. It's really good. It's really strong starts, really kind of mediocre middle ground, and then ending it strong so that you have to come back.
Right.
Like they continue. It's like an abusive relationship. Right. Continues to win you over.
I was talking about this with our colleague Clint Gage. Hey Clint.
Hi.
And he was like, why do you still watch this show? And I was just like, here's the deal. When the show is good, it is so good that it makes me put up with it when it's eternally frustrating, which honestly is most of the time. It goes without saying this is going to be very spoiler heavy, as all of our wrap-ups have been, so if that's a problem for you, then make better choices. You shouldn't have clicked on this video. And because of the episodes leading up to this, I wasn't super amped. I was kind of like, man, they better make this good. And I would say they did. It was a pretty good mid-season finale. I really hate saying that. It was a pretty good mid-season finale. We definitely got our body as we knew we would, and it turned out that your prediction was right. You predicted either Carol or Beth would be the one to go last week. I predicted probably Tyrese just because he's sort of useless at this point, and honestly, like, once a person is sort of like the moral compass, they're done on this show. And Beth and Tyrese are both serving that purpose, so now we're back down to one. In my opinion, and this is going to be controversial, it's 100% her fault. I mean, what the was she trying to do with those teeny scissors?
I think she was naming. I think she was naming for the neck.
Well, she fucked it up, and now she did. Yeah. And she's got a big ass hole in the back of her head.
It's interesting to me because I think me and a really vocal part of the internet has always been like, Beth sucks. Like when she had her own episode, everybody was like, why?
Yeah, it's like a Lisa episode of The Simpsons.
Right.
No one wants it.
I responded very similarly to I think a lot of people where it was executed so well.
Literally.
It surprised me, even though I knew it was coming. It
felt... It was very abrupt the way they staged it.
And then, watching Daryl cry. Just, I didn't cry, but I almost lost it. And they had set up that whole, like, Beth is alive.
Yeah.
And
which was interesting because Maggie has given zero about Beth being missing for the past 8 episodes. Like, she just hasn't brought it up. That's when I knew. When they planted that scene of Michonne telling Maggie that Beth was still alive, and all of a sudden she gives it's just like, oh, Beth did.
But I also think in terms of how Beth went out, yes, I think it's completely her fault. But I think that was kind of the point. I think that Beth's arc has been really interesting in watching her become really strong. And I think in that moment, she overestimated herself. Because the whole season...
And she overestimated those scissors.
Right. But the whole season has been like her underestimating herself and her building up the confidence to like act. And she finally gets the confidence to act, but it's in the wrong way at the wrong time.
So that was obviously the main event of the episode, was them getting rid of a critical character. But we also learned that Morgan is still on the hunt. He's still out there trying to track down Rick. He's actually a pretty good tracker, it turns out. And he made it as far as the church, where the group, the group that had stayed behind, Michonne and Carl and whoever else, the baby, whatever, they had all reunited and went to the hospital to find the Team 6 that had gone to rescue Beth and Carol. And Morgan looks like he's going to be a pretty prominent character in the next episodes. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for just some fresh blood.
Still don't know if he's crazy bat Morgan or got it back together Morgan.
He seems like he's got it together.
Does he want to like BFF Rick, or does he want to kill crazy Rick?
Segway? I don't know how that's pronounced. Anyway, Rick is bonkers. I mean, I have had issues with him from the beginning in terms of a lot of his questionable decision-making and leadership, and I was getting more on board with him as he became this, like, fuck off, like, I'm protecting my family, I'm protecting my group, you don't fuck with my people attitude. He's crossed this line now where he's just a murderer. Rick, we saw Black Bob #2 escape last week, and he's, like, running with his hands still cuffed together with that zip tie. Rick chases him down the cop car and basically runs him over and then shoots him in the head.
Right. And the whole episode after Rick shot him in the head, they kept being like, what happened to Officer what's his name?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, he was a really good guy.
Yeah. I think they were alluding to this a little bit with the whole Terminus massacre, but Rick he's losing his way.
And he's full on zombie Rick.
So yeah, I do have a lot of questions in terms of how this is going to play out with Rick's questionable judgment. I don't know if he's had this sort of deterioration in the books as well, but it's certainly going to be interesting that our protagonist is not the best guy.
It's funny because I really hate Gabriel. Gabriel annoys the out of me because he sucks. He is constantly saved by the grace of God.
Yes.
But at the same time, you'd think, like, if Gabriel ran into this group, would he not be terrified of them just as much as the zombies?
You know, if you were an outsider and came across this group, wouldn't they be just as scary to you as the other gangs we've seen over the seasons where they're just as brutal and ruthless and probably worse than the dead? I feel like that's not really true since we know them and we know the complexities of these characters and we know individual backstories. But as a whole, when you look at Rick, like, he looks like a crazy mountain man with a machete. Well, anyway, guys, that's it for our wrap-up of the mid-season finale of Walking Dead Season 5. It'll be back February 8th. I'm actually pretty excited, but I'm expecting it's going to be a lot of the same. It's going to be awesome for the first couple of episodes, then it's going to suck for a long time, then they'll get it together again at the end of the season. Let us know what you guys thought in the comments. Let us know what your predictions are for season 5.5. I don't know. And yeah, who do you think might be on the chopping block next season? Hopefully not Maggie, because she better make sure she keeps watching her back, even if she is crying.
Just get rid of the Green family altogether.
Yeah, right?
Those poor Greens.